Ludus, Vulpes. Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name is Kirsty and we're back with Bree at UK Games. So what would you like to show us today?
So this is Pocket Detective. Pocket Detective is a crime-solving game where you've got 3 cases to solve, each in a deck of cards. So the game comes in the box like this, with each case separated into its own deck. We've already got the first case taken out. So this is the top card of the deck. And then the first few cards of the deck will actually show some instructions and a little bit of flavor. Will tell you a little bit about the mechanics of the game.
Okay.
And it will also give you an introduction to your captain, because you're going to be a detective who will be investigating a crime.
Brilliant.
So it will tell you about how some of the symbols on the cards work, mainly about time, because time passes in this game, which it counts as points against you at the end of the game, but it also is a function in the game where, for example, you find a dead body at the beginning of the game while you're investigating this crime scene, and you send it to the coroner, and you have to wait a certain amount of time before you get the autopsy.
Of course.
So these cards get set aside. And they tell you, as you read this information, they give you instructions for how to create this setup. So for example, we've got this instruction that says to split up the deck of cards into decks B, C, D, E, F, and G. And that's how we've created this tableau of decks. And then also to set out cards A, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And these 3 cards here that we'll use at the end of the game.
Okay.
So with this information, we now know that we have this crime scene to explore. Card A7 actually just tells us a little bit more about how time and what they call tension works.
Okay.
But these cards are how we begin exploring the crime scene. So you have some options now. You can get a fingerprint report. You can attempt to look at the phone or turn on the phone. You can also talk to the medical examiner. Then you've also got the option to follow up on this interview that you've done with the Chancellor's secretary. During the game, you will have the opportunity to follow every lead. But every lead has the potential to cost time. And the goal of the game is to solve the case in the least amount of time. So that's how you'll get scored at the end of the game, is how much time you took.
I like that. I like that.
So what would you like to explore first?
Which would you like to go for?
This one. Turn
That
the phone on.
Okay. So we're going to flip this card based on the instructions at the bottom. And we've turned the phone on. Now there's no lead on this card. There's no instructions to go to another card. So we'll set this aside. We just know that we have this information now. This will probably be useful later, but right now it's just information that we have that we're going to set aside.
Okay, so next...
Then what would you like to do?
I'd like to go for the fingerprints.
All right.
Because
so
then...
you actually have 2 choices here.
Oh,
You can thoroughly examine the room. Or you can just request the fingerprint report that the investigation that's already been started has received.
Will the fingerprints on the report maybe show these names, or would that have to be thorough?
You don't know yet.
You don't know?
Oh,
You have to make your mind up.
No. I'm going to go for a thorough examination.
Okay. So the thorough examination does cost a time. But it didn't reveal anything other than the fingerprint report. But this sends us to card C1. So we're going over here to this deck, and we're going to take C1 and flip that over. So there's your fingerprint report. So this one doesn't show us any particular new information, but again, you get to hold on to this. You've got the visual of these fingerprints, so you may have the opportunity to match this with something that you find later. So we're going to set this aside. You also need to hold on to this one because we now have had a time pass. So we'll need to keep that to know that that has happened. Now you have 2 choices. What would you like to do next?
Your choice next.
Let's do A6.
Okay, the Chancellor's Secretary interview.
Yep.
All right. So when you interviewed the secretary, the late Mr. Crow was well known for his scientific achievements. After he had been hired by ChemFact, the university had to appoint him a sub-department chair in order to keep him as a lecturer. Dr. Crow's close friend and colleague, Dr. Carl Wood, was previously a candidate for that chair. Victor's wife's name was Anne Crow, and he had recently started mentoring a grad student named Liza Hampton. Flip this card to learn how to find them.
We've got Liza and Anne on here.
And now you've got lots of choices of things to do next.
Okay.
And there, I think, is where we'll stop because we don't want to give too much.
There
you
go. Too much.
So I think I noticed something interesting, which is this use of the word season 1 on the box. Can we assume there's maybe a season 2 in progress?
That is possible.
What possible?
How exciting! How exciting! So, if people want to pick up Pocket Detective while they're visiting Expo, how much is it to purchase?
It is $39.99.
$39.99. Perfect.
And we do have it available for purchase here at the booth.
How exciting! And then, if people can't get to the Expo, do they just go to your website to pick it up?
We will have it on the website soon, and it should also be available in local stores now or in the next week or so.
That's perfect. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you. You too.